Scam alert, it's tax season. What scams are making their rounds in your neighborhood? It's tax season. Scammers are working, well, they work all year long, but it seems like this year, at this time of year, working harder than ever.
They are. And, you know, one things we know about con artists is that they play on what's in the news. And everybody in January, February, March is thinking about doing their taxes. So this January, February, March is no different. And we have seen a gigantic surge in the number of scammers posing as IRS agents, sending you emails, all kinds of scams relating to your tax return. And I have often thought, is this really true, or did we just see about it? But then I actually got one of these calls last Sunday.
Tell us about that.
Well, I just came home from, I forget where I was, from having lunch or something. I open my answering machine, and it's this guy who is threatening me because he thinks that I owe the IRS money. And we brought a copy of this recording. Yeah. So I don't know if you want to play it now. Or
Let's do. So viewers and listeners, this is an actual taping that Doug brought with him on his answering machine. You may have heard much the same story, but here's what happened on Doug's machine.
Hi, this is Officer John White. We are calling you from Criminal Investigation Department of IRS. The reason you're getting a phone call from a department is to inform you that IRS has got the arrest warrant out for you, and your physical address is under federal investigation.
So the other side of that is you called them back.
I did. Well, I couldn't resist. I used to be an investigator, and so I called the guy back the following Monday, and he answered the phone, and he said, Officer White, and I'm like, yeah, you just left a very threatening message on my voicemail machine. He goes, oh, that's right, let me verify your address. Yes, I see here that you owe the IRS $2,700 from a tax return you filed in 2008. We believe it was intentionally fraudulent. And I am recording the call right now, and I have the Homeland Security Department also on the line, and they are also recording this call right now. I mean, this is very threatening stuff.
Sure.
And I said to him, well, what is your real name? Because, I mean, I didn't realize. And he goes, well, what's that supposed to mean? And I'm like, you know what I mean. If you're an IRS agent, I'm the Pope. And he hung up on me.
Really?
Right.
Yeah,
so that was the end of the call. But I thought two things when I was talking with him. One is, this is a scam. But if you didn't know it was a scam, it would be extremely threatening.
Yeah.
And we have seen so many cases of these calls, and some of your audience might have actually gotten one of these calls. I hope they call in if they've seen a call or heard a call like this or heard a friend call. We'd like to hear his story and talk about it tonight.
And Doug, what we just saw is kind of a low-tech way, I guess you would say, of contacting victims that are out there, and but there are also not so funny ways. I guess some of the dirty dozen.
Yeah.
You've got a few that you want to share right now.
Well, the IRS comes out every year. Believe me, there's at least 12 that are so prevalent they call them the IRS dirty dozen. We've got a couple of them I wanted to mention. That first one is on their list. It's sort of the telephone imposter scam.
Yeah.
It's happening all over the United States. And so if somebody calls, beware of that. Identity theft is another big piece. And last year at this time, and actually this year, people, if they can steal your Social Security number and then file a fraudulent tax return in your name, then you go to file your own tax return and they say, oh, you've already filed it. And we're going to talk later in the show, I believe, about sort of what you can do if something like that happened. Mm-hmm. That's another one, identity theft. Another one is this whole trolling for claiming to be a tax preparer, mainly so that you can collect people's personal information, and they'll email you or write to you and say, I'm a tax preparer, I'll give you a free tax return, and you got to watch out for that one. And the final one, and there's many more, but just for the sake of time, is phishing. Someone sends you an email posing as the IRS or posing as H&R Block or TurboTax and claiming that they need your personal information. There's something wrong with your return. Again, the IRS never phones people, and they never send emails. So if you get either one of those, you know it's a scam.
AARP Oregon will host a Scam Jam on April 27th at the Holt Center in Eugene. Visit aarp.org/OR for more information. Shred your documents on Fraud Prevention Day in Springfield, Missouri, March 28th. For more information, visit aarp.org/MO. AARP Nebraska will host identity theft events on April 14th and 15th in Omaha. Visit aarp.org/NE for details.